Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on September 21st, 2025 at approximately 8 p.m. PST. Now, I've made it my life's journey to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. I build myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the same philosophies I guide virtually every decision I make by. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me and have literally worked for thousands of other people over the years with varying degrees of success depending on their own personal efforts. Now, normally we go a different route, but today, because I've seen an increase, and maybe I'm misreading it, I don't know, but I've seen an increase in problem children coming in. Now, Storm and LA have been doing a staggering job of shutting them down. Rachel, you are in with the gold. How you doing? Glad you could join us. And I see Renee Andrews has come in right behind you. Welcome aboard. Today we're going to be looking at the ground rules for this channel because the reality is I designed this channel with the intention of it being a safe place for everybody. Now, there are topics and I'll get to them in a little bit. But again, if you have questions, absolutely put them in the chat room, put them in all caps. I'm working with really small printing right now. And the reality of it is I have a big problem reading some of it. Now we have coming in with the silver, with the bronze. That came out well. Bob Thorson, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Now, today we're going to look at the ground rules here. Okay. If you got questions, absolutely pop them in, and I will do my best to get to them. Now, to start with, let us be very clear. I bill myself as a spiritual guide. Okay, whether you believe me or not, that's your call. Okay, I literally, I have been, many people believe in past lives. Some of you have documented them. Okay, in my case, I have documented, I think 18, possibly 20 on this planet alone. Okay. And we have Joe Stewart is in with honorable mention. How you doing, Joe? Now, oddly enough, and I usually don't do this, I actually have a list of points that I wanted to get to. Okay. Now, some of you have certainly documented your own past lives. You believe in them. That's no problem. Okay. Now, I've been here many, many times over the years. Okay. And the reality of it is every lifetime I've come back, or almost every lifetime, I've come back with the same message that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. But this requires effort on virtually everybody's part. Okay. Now, every lifetime I've come back, and this is very important from your guys' standpoint. I've mentioned that trust is not a big factor for me. Well, let's put this in perspective. Okay, there are roughly 8 billion people on this planet. Okay, most of them are human. Yes, there are hybrids out there, the whole 9 yards. But of that, just over 8 billion people, there are 12 people that I literally, when they say this is what I'm doing, this is what I believe, this is what I'm up to, I take them at their word. Okay, I don't go looking to see where the hiccup is. Now, if you're one of those 12, I've already told you. If you're not, you're in good company. There's another 8 billion people plus out there that fit right in the same bin. Now, do not get me wrong. This does not mean I figure everybody is out to get me. If that were the case, I'd already be dead permanently. But every lifetime, I've drawn 12 people to me. Okay, I've done the same thing again. 12 people. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we walk around together. Some of them I don't talk to for years at a time. Okay, now, with that in mind, now let's go over this side. Like I said, oddly enough, I actually made notes. Now, I follow 3 karmic laws. Okay, now, and we'll get to the other side of this in a moment. Those 3 laws. What are we doing here? Well, yeah, Joe's just going, doing okay, just tired. I want to watch this before bed. Oh, there we go. Yeah, he goes, paranormal is just normal for me, on these days and nights. No doubt, I understand that all too well. Now, the karmic laws I follow literally apply to everyone. You don't have to believe in them. This is the nice part. It's kind of like you don't have to believe in gravity. Step off the balcony. Tell yourself gravity doesn't work. I'm telling you, this is not going to be an enjoyable experience. Now, the fall won't do much damage, but the landing could screw things up. Even God himself is subject to karmic law. Now, those karmic laws, as are stated in the description to this channel, are simple. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. Now, each one of those laws is equally important. Okay, kind of like the 3 legs on a three-legged stool. Okay, now let's go to the other side, to the next step here. And again, do understand, I put a lot of thought in this because I'd like it to be absolutely clear. Okay, this channel, this is the only venue I know of, as a matter of fact, it's the only one I'm personally on, that I am focusing on putting everybody in working together. It's that simple. Okay, but before you ask, okay, the question that many people ask me, especially because of the way that I put things out, is just who, pray tell, do you think you are? Are you some sort of a special case? The answer is no. But the real critical issue is not who I think I am. After all these years, 62 and then some, okay, I finally figured out who, what, where, when, and why I am, not to mention how I came to be. Okay, and in all fairness, there's a lot of you guys in this chat room that I can actually say helped a lot in getting me on that track. I spent a lot of years in deep depression where the only reason I kept going was because of the encouragement I got from you guys. Okay, and the other 12 I was referring to. Now, that being said, who I think I am is not really the critical question. Who you think I am is really the issue. Okay, so when we look at this, I will absolutely encourage you to spread your word. And here's the way it works is this. When I say your word, I recite what I believe. Absolutely. My opinion. And bear in mind, nobody in existence can have a wrong opinion. The very nature of it says your opinion is right. It is yours. It can't be wrong. However, the facts you're working with, the information you've been dealing with, may not be as accurate or as complete as you would like it to be. Now, the reason I encourage you to spread the word, and absolutely draw your friends with you, okay? Because here's the kicker, okay? If you've got a positive outlook on life, okay, if you are in support of what we're doing or striving to change your life for the better, okay, or you're striving to understand how people can operate together, regardless of who they are. Absolutely bring your friends, even the ones that don't entirely believe. Bring them along, okay? What they'll find is an open door, and thankfully, a lot of the people in this room tend to be very supportive of newcomers. Okay, so absolutely bring them along, because the reality of it is all people are welcome. Now, people make mistakes, and the reality behind that is if somebody steps over a line and makes a mistake, okay, the moderators, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the list of rules. Okay, moderators have been given carte blanche. Now, if you overstep that boundary, there is no warning necessary. You can find yourself outside. You'll still be able to listen. You'll still be able to, to hear what's going on, but you won't be able to interact. Now, I don't understand the whole moderator thing, not very well, but I do understand that once you get back in, if your behavior changes, legitimately changes, absolutely, you're going to be more than welcome to stick around. Okay, now the other side of that, if you come here to cause a problem, and you're bringing your friends with you, okay, and people that want to cause problems have friends. Like it or not, it takes all kinds to make the world work. But you will find, if you're coming in with the idea, I'm going to create a problem, I'm going to start complaining about politics, about a specific religion, about people, and start making people feel belittled or worse, okay, you'll find yourself, and your friends that come with the same intention, will find yourself outside. Now, that said, okay, and again, I don't understand the whole ins and outs of it. I am not a technologically adept individual. But you will find the door closed extremely quickly. Okay, and the reason for that is, I believe the term was safe place for everyone. Now, I'm hoping this is making sense. Okay, usually I run way more off the cuff. But, now, a couple of areas I will not go into in detail. And so let's be clear on these. Religion, or more to the point, a specific religion, I will not go into detail on. Okay, that said, if you would like to talk to me about my view on religion, give me a call. We'll arrange for me to come on your channel, because I won't do it on here. Okay, but here's the thing. In my eyes, because I believe in God and Christ, I see myself as a Christian. This said, let's be clear. I call my spiritual guide, the one I follow, the one I aim to emulate, I call him God for one reason. I'm lazy. God. 3 letters, 1 syllable, easy to say, easy to remember. Ultimately, what you call him doesn't matter. Okay? If you call whatever religion, whatever spiritual path you're on, whatever title you want to give, be my guest. Understand, I'm not here to tell you that your spiritual path is wrong. I'm here to tell you it may be incomplete. If you're following a religion or a spiritual guide, and do understand, I take all mainstream religions and all of the, if you will, minor ones, what people call the pagan religions, amongst other things. I love them all together. Okay. Now, with that in mind, what you call your God, your call. But if you're following a God, a spiritual guide that says that person's skin color is wrong, that person is different than you are, therefore they've got to be evil. Okay, the moment a spiritual guide starts telling you that you're supposed to discriminate against other people, okay, you might want to question what you're listening to. Okay, now the reality of it from my standpoint is simple. I take a look at all people. And when I mean all people, in my case, I jump in between species as well. Meaning, people, aliens, people not from here, okay, ancient races, races that evolved on Earth, okay, plants, animals, they're all people to me. Okay, they really are. And therefore, I treat them all the same way, on the whole. Now, I'm not saying you have to. Understand, I'm not blaming you guys for anything. The reality of it is, whatever you've been taught, you were taught by people that were taught the same thing. Now, in many cases, this is what I call true ignorance. Okay? So, yeah, if you're, now here's the nice little part about the religion side of it. Okay? I'm absolutely open to hear what people have to say in person or on private line. On here, we are not talking religion. It's just that simple. But here's the kicker. Whatever you call your spiritual guide, that's your call. You can call it a peanut butter sandwich for all it matters to me. Although I will tell you, if you're worshiping a peanut butter sandwich, the odds are sooner or later it's going to change color on you. And at that point, I really don't recommend eating it. Most religions have a very simple philosophy. Whoever the head of the spiritual path is, created God, created man in their image. Okay, but what most people overlook is this is inside and outside, at least in my opinion. Okay, now again, you don't have to agree with me. Absolutely, you've got a free will. This is the other thing that everybody seems to agree. You've got free will. You've got freedom of choice. Therefore, follow the path you want. But understand something very important. In this chat room, we do not talk religion. Okay? Nor do we talk politics of a specific party. Because here's the kicker. Every one of you, no matter where you are in life, every single one of you is a politician. Okay? You all do talk to people with the idea of getting things done the way you'd like them done. Is this not the way that politicians behave? Okay? And I'm sticking to just simply the idea of who is actually being, the ones that are actually striving to be honest. And yes, I've got my whole own outlook on life as far as that goes. But we do not discuss politics here at all. You desire to get into a political discussion, it won't be done here. But again, if you got either a channel yourself or you have somebody that you know of that runs a channel that would like to talk to me directly, absolutely let me know. We'll work out a time. Okay, but to be clear, now I mentioned the 12 people. Here's the only other people other than those 12 that I look at and go, their opinion matters. Okay, I mean, everybody's opinion does matter, but the ones that critically matter to me are literally the YouTube executives and the executives of any of the websites I choose to operate through. Okay, in this case, YouTube, Restream, LinkedIn, Facebook, you get the picture. Okay, I'm not really well spread out. Okay, but then I've got a lot of reasons for that. Those people's opinion matters way more than mine does. This is why I find myself biting my tongue a lot. It's also why I won't talk politics or religion on air. At least not on my channel. Okay, now that is, this is taking a lot less time to get through than I was expecting. And in all fairness, I'm dragging it out reasonably well. But again, I'm going to die. No, I've done that before. It didn't work well. I will tell you, passing away is a royal pain. Now, where are we here? Don't want that. I want this one. Whoops. I have done something very, very odd. Oh, there we are. That's why. What do we got here? Okay, now, here's the thing. If you've got comments, okay, that are constructive, are aiming for enlightenment, and I do mean you're looking for clarification on why I'm looking at something the way I am, or how I came to see a particular pattern, absolutely ask. If they are enlightening, if they are positive, if they are genuinely, genuine questions that you're looking to understand something and not create a problem. Okay. If that is the case, absolutely open your mouth. In this case, get your fingers working and pop the question in. Now, some of you have turned around and contacted me outside of this stream. Okay, and I do my best to get back to you. There are things I've really fallen behind on, and I got to correct that, but that's my fault. Okay. Now, the nice little part, as far as my moderators go, I keep getting word from people, oh, your moderators are being too harsh. Understand something very critical. I'm the one that said, I'm no longer interested in this problem. Okay. I don't desire to be part of this room. Therefore, problem children, you can pop. Just move them out of the equation immediately. Okay. Understand we've got the rules at the bottom of the screen, constantly scrolling. So this idea that I've heard some people use, well, I didn't know that was a problem. If you can see, then it's a problem. Okay, it's right there. Now, there are those of you that legitimately cannot see. Okay, those people I will absolutely agree with. You didn't see it. Okay, but those same people have a tendency on the whole of paying attention to the rules that are written in the first place. Okay, so when I take a look at this, if you've got something that is intended to be a genuine question, and understand, questions on the whole, if you've got a question, the odds are somebody else either in the audience currently or that's watching this video later likely has the same question. Not the least of which is where it comes to my outlook on religion. Philip, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Okay, I've been here multiple times in the past. Okay, I can name all kinds of ones. The big ones, I'm not going to tell you. Okay, most people that have a past life, most past lives are pretty, shall we say, quiet. Now, I will come back to that, Philip, because I know I'm going to have a little bit of time. But the short answer, and like Philip's just asked, are you excited about Halloween? I don't get excited about much. Okay, I really don't. But one of the important factors that I do look at is if you've got a question that's intended to incite a problem, i.e., how can you say that? You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. That person in the chat room is wrong. If you're looking to start a fight, this is a bad idea. My moderators know how to do that funny thing called booting you out of the room. Okay, they don't even talk to me about it. They just go, they'll talk to me after the fact, i.e., this person's a problem, what should we do? They just go, that person's a problem, he's gone. And understand that's to protect everybody in there and keep them with a positive outcome. With a positive experience. Now, the nice little thing that we got to look at here is as long as you are treating people here with respect, absolutely, you don't have to agree with me. Okay, all you got to do in a case like that is ask a question politely, respectfully, because the people coming in here, I don't know how old the people are. Okay, I really haven't looked at the demographics, but I strive to be family friendly. Okay, meaning if we happen to get a teenager in here, I don't need the world. I don't need this individual going, oh, the world's going to heck in a handbasket. We're all going to burn. I will tell you, everybody that puts their hand in the fire almost will burn their hand. I know one chap, I kid you not, I watched him burn. I watched him, well, put his hand in a real hot place. And his hair didn't burn. The skin did, but the hair didn't. There are people all over the place that are a little different. Okay. Now, I did notice here, Joe says, Inner Voice Enterprises has helped me very well. Where are we? Paranormal wise. Now, my life, and I do appreciate that, Joe. My life is real simple. Okay. It's more paranormal than it is normal. Now, that said, okay, I once was in an extreme, as a matter of fact, for the last several years, I have been in a very dark place. I've been fighting depression. You guys have literally been instrumental in helping me stay out of it. Okay. Now, I'm just looking at, there we go. LA, and I'm just going to repeat, this is something that LA, one of our moderators, has put in. If you incite through a double-ended question, especially towards Keith or ourselves, we'll be happy to give you your very a tour, very short, of the airlock. Now understand, this is metaphorical. Fortunately, I'm not on a space station at this moment, but you get the picture. We do not take inciting statements. Okay, we don't take them kindly. Now, I've been really tolerant, really bad idea in my eyes. Okay. But something that I do have to point out. Okay. Now, I was in a very dark place for a very long time. To be honest and to be very clear, I was never suicidal. And I don't know if that's a good word. Okay. I really don't. This new language that people are using is weird to me. But I was never looking at self-harm, ever. I came very close on a number of occasions to shut down this stream altogether. Okay. That's just the reality behind it. Yeah, Phil's just going, maybe that friend of mine is related to Carrie. Possibly. Okay. But I spent a lot of time in a very dark place. I finally found the light. And I'm quite willing to turn it on for you guys and go, here's a way that you can take your life. You can turn your life around. Now, I will tell you, the tools I work with are ones that I have literally taught to over 100,000 clients. Okay. And all it requires is your own personal effort. Nice part is you don't have to believe it works at the outset. Just like you don't have to believe that gravity works. But I will tell you, if you've ever tripped at the top of a set of stairs, you probably realize gravity is painful. Or more to the point, the side effects are. One of the things I look at, whatever brought you to where you are, and get this one straight because it took a long time for me to get it straight, how you got to where you are in life. You undoubtedly have made some miscalculations, done things you're not proud of, opened your mouth, put your foot in it, deeper than you would have liked. How you got to where you are is not a functional concern for me. Okay, and shouldn't, in my eyes, be a functional concern for you. What does matter is what you're doing to alter it. Okay, and the nice part is you don't even have to know what you desire your life to look like. What you've got to know is what you're not content with. Okay, you simply have to look at the world and go, I'm not content with this aspect of my life, and change it. That's all. If you change it and you're still not content, change it again. Okay, now how you got to this point, wherever your past is, some of my closest friends one of my closest friends for the longest time, we're still good friends. Okay, we really are. But he made some absolutely fundamental impact on me. He used to be a member of a bike gang. Okay, most of the people that I gamed with when I was younger they had criminal records, whether it was B&E, whether it was assault, whatever, didn't matter. I have never looked at somebody and gone, your past dictates how you will be in the future. It does paint a picture, though. And this is something you got to remember. Whatever you've done in the past, and it's been said, if you go down certain religious circles, they will tell you, God will forgive you. God forgive you and forgave you of all your sins. He did. In my opinion, he absolutely did. Something you got to realize. He didn't give you carte blanche to continue sinning. He said what you did before was wrong. Okay, what you do now is up to you, but you do not have a free run. And that is why in this room, okay, in this room, if you make a mistake, yes, you'll get popped. You will get booted. However, if you genuinely change what you're doing when you come back into the room, okay, you will get the time to prove that you're doing that. Be clear, very clear on this one. Come back in once you get back in. Do the same thing. The odds are you're going to get banned for a very long time. And I'm not the one you ever drop a note to going, well, can you straighten this out and get me back into the room? The answer is, can I? Possibly. Will I? Not a prayer. That is why you turn to Storm and drop him a note directly. Okay? Because I won't do it. I've asked Storm, LA Moon, and a few others to step in and make certain I don't have problems. I bit my tongue for the longest time and had a stroke out of the deal. Not playing that game again. Okay, so as long as you choose to focus on the positive side of things, okay, and on supporting the people here in their own efforts to change, absolutely come on in. Bring your questions. There are many different topics we cover, and I do my best to keep you posted on that. As a matter of fact, I gotta do better. That's a shortfall on my part. Okay. Ow. Double pneumonia last week, 4 days running. Didn't leave my lungs in good shape. Every one of you has the same ability I have, by the way. Some not as well developed, but then let's face it. I technically can learn to work on a car, as in mechanically. I wouldn't recommend it in my case. Okay. The important factor is how you got to where you are. That's what makes you you. What is important at this point is where are you striving to get to? Actually, it depends on the animal. Philip goes, tongue doesn't sound like a popular menu option. And I've done that way too often, especially if I sneeze. Fortunately, this is just my lungs not cooperating. But this room, and what I'm going to end up doing is going on future shows. I'll probably go look. If you really want to get a handle on things, absolutely contact me. Absolutely look at this video. Okay, take a look at this stage, and you'll get a better understanding of it. Okay, when I lay out topics for the day, that is what they're for. And I'm doing my best to give people a heads up. Okay, I'm not interested in finding out how bad the world is There's lots of videos out there. There's lots of newspapers, lots of of live streams that you can listen to that will absolutely tell you how bad the world is. Okay, let me ask you this. What are you in your world doing to correct your life path, to make your life a little more enjoyable? Because I will tell you, all the praying, all the positive affirmations, all the wishful thinking in existence won't do a thing to change your life. Okay, it just won't do anything until you get off your couch. Okay, or whatever you have to be sitting on. The important factor here is if you've got questions, I will do my best to post things and give people a heads up. Okay, and yes, I've got a website on Facebook that I have been absolutely pathetic at keeping up to speed. Okay, I don't understand technology well, in case you haven't pieced that together. But if you've got ideas about either a topic or a question that you really would like an answer to, absolutely bring it to me. Here we go. LA is just bringing things up to speed. And bear in mind, I asked LA and Storm to participate in this part of it anyway. So LA is going, occasionally we will have a guest here that thinks differently or has some problem or other. Storm and I are very good at understanding this sort of thing and recognizing it. Okay. And, I take my guidance from them. Okay. I have a very strict outlook on my own life. Okay. And the one thing I will tell you, one of the biggest miscalculations I made in religion. Okay. And in this case, I'll tell you exactly which one. I was actually talking to a gentleman on air. This would be probably a decade back, where I misunderstood what the Church of Satan doctrine was. Okay. Now, I am not speaking from the standpoint of promoting any religious line, but he told me I was mistaken on my information. He presented the information to me. I looked at it and went, boy, did I miss that one. I am quite willing to admit when I make a miscalculation. Absolutely, I am. Okay. Now, the reality of it is this. If you've got questions, I'm all for answering them as best I can, as some of you have come to see. Okay. If you've got a topic you feel would be beneficial to discuss, understand I have a list of topics, but I will add the appropriate ones to the list. Okay. And I will keep you posted when they come up. To be clear, the list I've got right now, I think is booked all the way to the end of October at this point. I think that's where it is. Let me just double check and see if I can do this. Yep. No, I'm actually booked solid till the 10th. But I've got some things assessed for the end of October. Okay. And that's just because that's the way things are working. Here we are. Yeah, LA goes, we actually have an open column for kindness and good things. Sign up for free. It's a good read. And that's the nice part about it. The funny thing is, if you watch major media and most of the streams I see, so many people talk about how bad the world is. How about if we focus on how good we can make it? Now, in a simple way of looking at it, you've got a choice. You can either make Earth a heaven to live on in your area, or you can make it absolutely HE double hockey sticks. Okay. That is just the reality behind it, but the choice is yours. I'm here to simply give you methods that have been tried by literally thousands of people to solve everything from self-esteem issues to relationship conflicts, to finances, to the whole 9 yards. Pick the topic, I've probably dealt with it. I mean, let's face it, I've got well over 100,000 clients under my belt. And yes, as it shows you on the screen there, if you go to buymeacoffee.com/InnerVoiceJ, you'll find a list of all the books I've got in print and a way to get a hold of me if you're looking for direct consulting, personal or business. Doesn't matter. On here, I do it all for free. Okay. With the magazine, which is available through that website, it is also sent out for free. Okay. So all in all, we are looking at a very simple outlook on life. Okay. I'm not interested in perpetuating the negative side of things. Okay. There's enough going on out there. There's all kinds of sites you can see. Okay. And yes, I have spoken very critically about some of what I've seen in the way of topics. Okay. The odds of my changing that, not good. However, don't bother asking me for names of people because I'm not telling you. Okay, I've had a lot of people that have absolutely turned around and done something weird. Okay. Where are we here? The one thing I find is a lot of people on a spiritual path have come to me and said, oh, you've got to follow our path. And they have done everything they could to convert me. As near as I've been able to find, it's really hard to convert me. It's not hard to convince me that I made a mistake. Lord knows I'm not perfect. Okay. But when I look at what this world is doing right now, it's, in my opinion, we as individuals have the ability to change the path society is on. I'm simply offering a path, not the only path, but a path to a brighter tomorrow. You're going to have to do the work. Okay? And yes, the way I talk here, if you ever run into me in person, and there are people that have met me in person, and you can talk to them if you ever figure out who they were. What you see here is the way I am. Okay? I have a tendency I've got this real bad disease called hoof and mouth disease. You ask me a question, I will give you an honest answer. I will not guarantee you're going to like the answer. Okay? But you ask a question, I will give an answer. In here, in this stream, I will not answer political and or mainstream religion topics. Okay, questions. Thank you so much for that, LA. Philip, that is probably the one area I would really recommend not talking to me about. But because I'm not a great cook, I do have a chili recipe that I do. Okay, I don't know if it's great. My taste buds are not what I would call recommended. But if you drop me a private line, I do have it written down. I just can't give it to you here. But drop me a private line, and I will absolutely send it to you. You get to figure out if it's good. Okay? And now, again, contacting me is easy. If you go to that website, it tells you exactly how to get a hold of me. Or drop me a line at innervoiceenterprises@yahoo.ca. Okay, that's covered on that site anyway, but there it is for you. Okay, and that's the best I can do from that end. Okay, the important factor that we have to realize, this room, and now I've kept this, we downsized this to a 1 hour run. And in all fairness, that was a discussion I had with LA and Storm. And to me, this works out way better because in case you hadn't noticed, My throat's starting to give again. But that in and of itself is not a big problem. Oh, look at that. Where are we here? Now, with that in mind, absolutely. What I'm like, we're looking right now at 694 subscribers. About 684 more than what I was actually expecting when I started. Okay. Are we going to keep pushing to grow this channel? Absolutely. Now, am I going to tell you I'm the best person to follow? No. The only time I'm the best person to follow is if I happen to get into a line in the bank or something like that before you. Then absolutely I'm the best person to follow at that point. Okay, but all I'm doing is going, I came here to let people know that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Of course, the reality is, those of you that are intent on causing a problem, this isn't going to be a better world for you. Okay, I don't have the tolerance for it anymore, as evidenced by the fact I've asked my monitors to step in and go, if there's a problem, remove it. Okay, and you'll notice, just for those of you that I've said, put the questions in all caps. Phillips asked a question, got nothing to do with the topic, but that's why I go, okay, I can do that. Here's how to get a hold of me to get it. Okay, this room is so that everybody can feel safe, secure, and comfortable enough to ask questions that otherwise may be really complicated for them to find an answer for. I don't have the only answers, but I do have the only answers I have. Okay, and rest assured, I will give you an answer. It may be something simple like, I'm not telling you. Now, I've had people push for answers after I said, I'm not telling you. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. Because here's the kicker. If somebody pulls that, and I've had it happen in the past, somebody pulls that, they go, here's the question. I go, I'm not giving you an answer. So they keep reposting the question. That's where the moderators undoubtedly will look at it and go, okay, you're not listening, so we don't need that question anymore. Okay, and no, this does not happen in a very long time. Sometimes you guys will ask a question that I miss. In a case like that, absolutely repost it. Okay, because I do try to get to the questions. The idea here is to turn the lights on so you can see the world in a different light. And you know, it's really comical from my standpoint. I've got this live stream called Positive Perceptions and a free magazine called Positive Perspectives. And yet, I spent the last 3 or 4 years in severe depression. Okay, and I don't know if that's a word you're allowed to use. All I know is that's what it was. It was literally the support I got from many of you guys that kept me pushing this stream forward. Matter of fact, my own son just the other day, I was talking to him, and he goes, Dad, you cannot shut this stream down. You're reaching people that you don't even know you're getting to. And that's what I came back here for. But I will tell you, the overwhelming efforts of so many people to turn this world into a nightmare is really disconcerting for me. Okay, and that's why, because you gotta remember, I am empathic. Meaning, like many of you, I physically pick up what other people are feeling. Okay, so when I get bombarded by a lot of negativity or a lot of aggression, it does tend to overwhelm me. Now, the moderators are here to make certain I don't have to deal with it. Because the alternative is I shut the stream down, period. And I disappear off the map. I've already had one stroke caused by biting my own tongue. I'm not doing it anymore. Okay, and that's just the way things go. Now, with that in mind, we are looking at a world that is going to change. Okay, I've already started changing my immediate world. And yes, we're going to go into things like self-hypnosis. We're going to cover feng shui, the reality behind it, or more to the point, a reality behind it. We're going to look at the best natural air purification system in existence. Okay, and we're going to cover all of these things as a way of helping you get a better handle on your life and change the things about it that you're not comfortable with. It's not a question of my saying you're going down a bad path. Well, thank you very much, Joe. Joe goes, an old quote from this show that I still take to heart. I am worth it. Okay, that particular saying, I actually have on a sheet above my computer, one on my fridge up front, and one on the front door of my apartment. Okay, and anytime somebody buys a book from me, I send out a bookmark with it that has that quote on it. Because the reality is, so many of us, myself included, okay, so many of us forget that we have value. Okay, we really do. But then you take a look at it. How many kids are told as they hit about 5 or 6 years old, kiddo, that's a great imagination. Now grow up and face reality. Bad news, imagination is what drives a lot of the new inventions. Well, pretty much all of them. Okay, but this is the time for us to turn around and go, okay, you're probably listening to politicians and spiritual leaders around the world. So many of them are telling you the end times are coming. We're all going to die. We're all going to go to war. I love the last one that I just heard. Apparently, we're already at war with offworlders. If you're listening to this, to these kinds of things, is it any wonder you're having trouble? Okay. So all I'm doing is going, let's look at how people are helping each other. Let's see what we can do about doing that. Okay. Instead of walking in and going, oh, let's see how depressed we can get. Oh, look, it's pouring rain and people are getting shot. All over the world, it's pouring rain, just not all at the same time. Okay. But let's not forget, after the rain, you get that neat little feeling of, hey, the flowers are back. It smells really nice. And I don't know about you, but the moment it starts raining, I grab a cloth and go out and wash my car. Well, I used to. I gave my car away. But this chat room is for people to support each other, not to degrade, not to defame, and certainly not to debase. The idea is simple. Working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everyone. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Phil's just adding a real quick one here on YouTube. He found an extended version of Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. Oh, well, that's an interesting one. Gonna have to take a look at that possibly. The fact of the matter is, we all bring something positive to this world. Yes, everybody has negative traits, myself included. Okay, one of the biggest things that you have to realize is that if this channel is to continue, which for all intents and purposes is showing no signs of closing, it's going to be done on the guidelines that I've laid out. They will change as time goes on, as we find things that need to be tweaked. And again, if you have a topic, if you've got a question you feel would make a good show, absolutely drop me a line. Okay, or just pop it into the chat room when I'm on air, and we will do our best to catch up with it. But like I said, I've got topics booked all the way to the 10th of October, and I've got a few others already laid out. So, in the venue that I've laid out, we will work things in. One of the biggest things that is absolutely imperative here, if you come in to create a problem, you're not going to be welcome. You'll be able to listen. Okay, I don't think anybody knows how to shut that down, although, in all fairness, I wouldn't put it past some people. But you will be able to listen, you just won't be able to get back into the room. And Renee's going, it rained here today, and it was beautiful. Mother Nature watered my yard, so I didn't have to. We had a rainstorm here as well. I'll tell you, the smell was so much of an enlightenment. And this is why, with this channel, my desire is that people walking out of this channel when we close down for the night walk away feeling better than when they walked in here, not feeling worse. Now, I do remember several months back, somebody came in and caused a problem. And even before the moderators could do anything, several of the listeners piped up and chased the guy out. I appreciate that, Philip. So the big thing and the reason I put this here that I did this today was because so many people seem to be creating extra problems. At least it seemed like it to me. So I just went, I'm not going to sit on it any longer. Now, as of tomorrow, what are we working on tomorrow? I have to see if I've got that listed. Of course I've got it listed. Tomorrow we are looking at, go all the way back to there. Oh, there we are. Tomorrow, which is Monday, we will be back here with Believing Your Finances, and we will talk about how to deal with that. Where are we? How to get your finances back in track for you. Not back in track the way I say it has to be. Okay. Now, one of the important factors here. I'm getting back on schedule. I will get things back on track. Again, I do want to say thank you so very much for sharing your time with us today. I really do appreciate it. We will be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow we discuss finance. Okay. But until then, because that'll be at 8 p.m. Pacific. Until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.